Okay, got it going. Hi, Brad. Can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, Gwen. I'm sorry if it's kind of a last minute notice like this. I'm probably not going to be able to join very long.
That's okay.
But at least I could.
Well, I'm going to record this, but it's really getting some ideas from Jeremy, and then I'll write an email and with each of you and kind of confirm what we're talking about.
That sounds great. And Jeremy, I'm sorry to hear about your mother, but I hear from your last email that it seems like things are going a little bit better.
Yes.
Have you already? So is she? What are the doctors saying, and what's kind of the update?
Well, she's sort of stabilized, and now is for us to make a decision whether her condition allows us to bring her home or to put her in a nursing home. So we are at that crossroads at this point. Either way is fine with us, because in our case in Singapore, everything is very accessible within distance. The nursing home is around the corner. Actually, it's not far from the home. It's about 15 minutes car drive there. And if she is to come home, the government subsidizes us by giving us a subsidy for an extra helper. The government gives us subsidy for training the helper and all that thing. So for us, it's a question of actually figuring out where is best to bring her, whether to the nursing home or here. Actually depends in the next days how the doctors will evaluate her condition.
Sure. And she, from what you can tell, she's okay with either way as well.
Yeah, she's okay either way as well, because as I said, even if it's a nursing home, the helper will go there, bring food for her, see to her every day for an hour or so before coming back, kind of thing. So it's around the corner. It's not something far. It's just that in a nursing home, then things like the assistance, the mobility assistance is there, the physiotherapy is there, everything is there. And if you break up into a fever, the doctors are there and all that kind of thing. Whereas at home, if all these things happen, then it's a bit of you're not too sure. You break out into a fever, you give them some Panadol kind of stuff, and so we were dealing with it. So we hope we cross the road in the next few, either this week or the next week or so. Then I think that will stabilize this situation.
We'll continue to pray, and
thank you. Thank you, Brett. No worries. Yeah. Okay.
And so, Gwen, kind of from my email that I mentioned is, I know we've been talking a lot about the GBST initiative, but I know that Jeremy has a whole bunch of thoughts and plans about not just that particular initiative, but I know he's talked about Myanmar. I've got a friend in New Zealand that is doing work in Myanmar, would like to connect with Jeremy. There may be some issues where you're thinking about even China, some other places. We've got some students that are pretty active in China as well.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure we had a chance to, first of all, affirm to you, Jeremy, that we really see you as our, the regional vice president for this whole area. We are listening for your initiatives, your thinking, how we can support that, how we can add to that. But and obviously the school in Singapore is a great, excellent, but we also don't want to just say that's only that. And we could, depending on your timing. You may say, let me just focus on that this year and do some other things next year. But we wanted just to hear your vision and your passion, and then for you to engage us how to support that. And the second conversation is, I want to make sure you have visibility on our website. And I know you'd work with Debbie, but I wanted to make sure that anything, did it accomplish what you wanted, and how do I continue to work with that so that you have visibility and titles and everything you need to represent us with the authority and support that you need for that. So those are just kind of the two questions I was having.
Right. Thank you very much, Brett, for that. Very quickly, while you're driving, maybe I just say a few things. I think, as I mentioned to Gwen, and we can have this further how to decrease that. On the website is to mention that DTL is now available in the Asian time zone. That's one thing to talk about. I think the other thing is also to make sure that when there are inquiries from the Asian time zone, from Asia itself, the inquiry directs directly to routes to me, kind of thing. I got a call from I was told by Tricia once there was somebody from Singapore. I tried to reach out to him, but that was apparently the wrong telephone number, so I couldn't get to him. So I think we want to be able to, particularly when we get hits on the website, to be able for me to particularly within Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, within the ASEAN region, I can actually follow up. That's not a problem. That I can immediately follow up with that. That's number one. So I think I think that's my only ask now for the website. I'm trying to learn a bit about this website thing, as how we're going to figure out. And as I navigate it, Brett, bear with me as I navigate it. As I have more ideas about it, I think I will come back to you to figure out how we further develop that website, so that the website becomes our platform to promote the DTL program, and perhaps even later the DMIN program in the Asian time zone. That's number one. So I think we can put the website.
The website says, does the website actually say we're closed during certain times, or something's not available in the Asian time zone?
I think the website, according to some feedback, is that when they click onto a US university, people often do not know whether they are present here in this part of the world, kind of thing. So
it's more the presence?
Yes. Yeah, it's more the presence than anything. So it's not so much the presence, Brett. So if you go to the website, the website must give a sense, because it's US based. The website must give a sense. So when people click the website, there's a tendency for them to ask, "Oh, is this available?" Even though it's on the internet, it's online, but people will ask, "Is this available in Asia?" For example. So I think we have to be very explicit about saying that it's available in Asia.
Okay, so that makes sense. So let's work on how we can change that.
Yeah.
And it's possible that we can get a domain name even, and have an Asian, so bg.edu, and then do a dot and do a Singapore or something else.
Yeah.
And that's very easy to do, and have a set, because a website can have multiple pages. And you can have pages that are specifically written for program in Asia. Having you make the introduction, have a letter of introduction, and you can cast a vision for that. So it's very flexible, and we can even have it go to a satellite place that has a Singapore invention, even in the HTML code, although most people don't necessarily care about that so much.
But I think let's start with somebody who is a web developer there, and then we can talk about how best to, so that whoever visits that site, when for example, you just have the map, you just could have a map of the world, and then you have just to put Barkay's presence. And if we have people who just click, when they see Asia, oh, Singapore, they click Singapore, then it comes, like you say, it comes to the page, to the Singapore page, and then or to the Asian page, so-called, and then we have some information about Asia. That's kind of thing, right?
Okay. So we have the map at the bottom. We have the map at the bottom of the home page.
Right.
But maybe there's a way to lift that up, and then have that click. Have a different way so it clicks to a separate page. And let's be happy to do that. I guess what we'd love to do is get kind of your leadership on that. Debbie Maris is very good when she's given direction. She knows how to make it work. And so I think what we need to do is give her clarity on direction, and then actually have a series of pages specifically for the programs that you're initiating.
Right. So I will following this. I will follow up with Debbie. And I will follow up with Debbie, and I will deep dive into this website development with her.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah. Okay. So no worries there. I think we can move. We can that thing. It's because you're driving. I think on the issue of how we see Asia kind of thing. I think it's a question of making our presence. And I think with my view is that with BGST is that it's the first kind of model that we are working with. And the reason for BGST is simply that we should be able to plug into their database. Okay, we plug into a database, and it is easier for us to make the program known to their population. Because I think that's the greatest value that they bring to the table for now. And I think because of that view of that, I hold a similar view with other collaborations as well. I think the purpose of the tie-ups with various schools, bodies, and so forth is simply to be able to tap into their database, to their population, and make known our programs. Because otherwise, in terms of delivery, it's quite easy because myself, it's just a question of other people within the Asian time zone, anywhere outside, even outside Singapore, who is available, can actually deliver the program kind of thing. Because everything is basically on the internet. Therefore, when we talk about the collaboration, therefore, yes, carry on, Brad. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Therefore, when we talk with collaboration with all the other with any other bodies, that will be the point of collaboration.
Right.
It just makes our marketing easier. For us, delivery because we are online, delivery can be anytime, anywhere kind of thing. It's just tapping into that. That's number one. And the other thing maybe is that in terms of our own element.
I'm sorry, we had a technical glitch, and so I dropped out. But
okay, no worries, Brett. So as I was saying, Brett, is that for BGU we are online, so we are available anytime, anywhere kind of thing. And that being the case, and because that is the case, being available anytime, anywhere, any of these institutions that we know, our collaboration, what we get out of them is largely their marketing base, the ability to spread to their population who is like-minded. That's all. So
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So just a thought on that. I agree with your strategy. With one concern, we have found that educational institutions, the way they're designed around faculty control, often are the very worst in terms of being open to collaboration and thinking through the innovation of collaboration. What happened with BGST, because you're on the board, you're trusted, you're respected, that's why it worked. If I had called their president and started having this conversation, we never would have gotten anywhere.
Yes.
And so you have an inside trust for that. We have found, however, that organizations that are perhaps needing training needs, they're nonprofit organizations, businesses, tend to just be more aware of the need for collaboration and desire for that. And sometimes they can be accessed easily, or most easily, through our alumni, because our alumni may lead them, our alumni may be on their boards.
Right.
Now, if there's an alumni on the board of an educational institution, that allows us to sometimes break through their reluctance to collaborate.
Yes.
But as you know, in the banking world, collaboration was such an important part, and that's natural to you. In the education world, they don't normally collaborate, and they're decades behind. And so that's why we love the BGST, but I don't think it would have gone anywhere if you hadn't been on the board and they trusted you.
Yes. And I think even in the case of BGST, the experience with them is that and maybe it'll be the same experience with many other institutions, is that they have got too many things on their plate. So it's very difficult sometimes to advance our agenda on their plate kind of thing. So while we go into collaboration, we know that it's not going to be a bed of roses. We know that there are certain things we can get out of that collaboration, but equally important, we want to be very aggressive in marketing our courses by ourselves as much as possible. And that's why I want to have that conversation with Debbie also, to say that let's do blast kind of, what's the possibility of doing blast advertisement, like Google advertisements, it comes out kind of thing. And that is something that we should we can consider, because all of these institutions will be a very hard sell. When I was in Australia, I got to work with a guy called Joel Abel. He is the pastor. He's the senior pastor for Hillsongs Australia. Are you familiar with them, Brett?
Yes, I attended their service. I attended their service in Sydney 3 Sundays ago, and he was the preacher.
Yes. Joel Bell is and me are on we are on personal terms. We attended the same Gallup program together.
He's a great leader. He's a great leader.
Yeah, so he's a great guy, and I got to know him during the program, and yes, and not only was he on the program, his head of learning and training and everybody else was on that program as well. So 3 of them were on that program. So that is a very key institution, for example, in Australia, for us to reach out to kind of thing. And from him, it'll be definitely New Zealand, because he reaches out there kind of thing. So these are the guys of this size or this magnitude that you want to be able to tap into their database. You want to get some of the guys there. But even as we tap into their database, we should just continue to do the blast kind of thing. And I just want to get over this BGST thing as ASAP, get this thing off the ground, moving kind of thing, because then the next step, my view is that probably in April, May or so, when this thing gets off the ground, the second half of the year, I will start to communicate with Joe Abel to explore how we actually move along, whether how we can move along this idea with him kind of thing. And it could start off with his own people, because he has probably 1.5 million of kind of congregation kind of thing. So he is a great possibility to talk about. Hey, is there a way we can offer this within your own school? Because they have this.
That sounds very reasonable. That sounds right. And again, what you just said about too many things on the plate, that is a concern we have at BGU. And so it's so much easier to come up with ideas, and we have so many relationships, but it's about following up and staying focused. And so I really agree that the BGST, right? And then if you feel like that your discernment, your leadership, your relationships, your strategic initiative, you want to move with Hillsong next, our job is to follow that guidance and then support you on that, and to give you the resources you need and the relationships to build that. And Hillsong has Hillsong University, which is really a seminary.
Yes.
And my assumption is there's got to be people in Hillsong University that after their graduation from that program would want to have more engagement in culture. So and they have a lot of people go through. So Absolutely. That may be a great, there's all kinds of opportunities. But the key is the relationships that you would want to prioritize, And our job is to listen to that discernment from you and your timing. But I agree with you. Let's do BGST. But we also want to say, whenever you're ready, we want to be ready to support you.
Yeah. So in terms of my plan is to get over the hump with BGST. Do some road shows with them, get a feel of it myself. Do some road shows with them, and once we are there, have a feel of the road show with them. Who knows, within BGST, there are other people within there who are prepared to bring us to places like Indonesia, for example, or even Malaysia. I spoke with our alumni Kahui about Malaysia, but it is just my impression. My impression that it is not too. He has his own agenda. He has got his C12 kind of thing. So he's forwarding that agenda, the C12 kind of thing, and so I actually explored the possibility. I said, what about DTL being part of C12 and all that thing? I didn't think it resonated with him kind of thing. So he's very much wanting to push that kind of thing. So that's fine. That's fine. I will find other ways to collaborate to get up into Malaysia. But as I said, who knows, from within the BGST community, that's where we get somebody who catch on the fire and then is prepared to move on.
That makes sense. That sounds very right on. So we want to support that in your strategic direction.
Right.
So Gwen, I'm going to slip off. But I just really like what Jeremy is saying, and I really trust him and trust your leadership there, and very exciting to hear kind of even the timing and making sure we don't have too many things on the plate, stay focused and do it in the right time and the right way. So I'm going to step off, but I'll listen to the recording later and you'll know.
Right. Okay.
Jeremy, great to connect with you. And thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Because I didn't want to keep him too long. I don't want to keep you too long. Because
no. It's all right. It's all right.
You're teaching a class now, but I didn't know what your schedule was, and this was impromptu. But Brad and I wanted to get just some thoughts, and I understand better. And I think that we can start a lot of these possibilities.
We can start. Yeah, I think what we need, Gwen, is just that. The push of the internet, the blast there to make advertisements kind of thing. And we are there.
I like that. And now I also gained an understanding from one thing you said. I didn't understand that they wanted to start with our online classes. So that simplifies, because everything that we have is online and it's all set up. So we have nothing new to do.
Right.
And
absolutely. There's nothing new to do. So it's quite straightforward to kick off. Get some experience, get to know them, as a partner, that kind of thing. So there are several things that kind of thing, but I think all is definitely workable. As I said, it is not so much. Of course, to get students will be very important, will be a very big priority, but equally in that particular database in their population, who can actually bring us to the next level kind of thing, is something that I want to tap, because to leave it to the imagination of these people to bring us forward, we cannot depend on them. As good people as they are, they won't have the. I mean, it's just like Kahui in Malaysia. When I start to talk to him, he's a great guy. You talk to him, but every time you bring up this agenda that we want to forward, it's not on his agenda.
Right.
He wants to do his C12, and that's understandable. So who else would catch the fire from us? Who else would start the forest fire for us?
And the thing, and I'm not that familiar with them yet, but I just received an email from Hillsong, and I thought, oops, I've got to explore this. But they sound like really a great opportunity and maybe a great field. So that's good. Absolutely.
Once you got Hillsong, you got a whole of Australia.
I'm ready to go to Australia. I saw Brad's son's pictures of their trips to New Zealand, and then they went on to Australia. And I thought, oh, Don, that's going to be our next trip. I've got to stop working and start planning.
Yes, it's a beautiful place. I live with, and I'm always in Sydney because the children are there. And my hope and dream is that my son will settle down to buy us the family home that he is, running around looking for one. We hope we get one, but because both of them now live in the city, so I think it's a great place. Personally, for me, I hope that in the next 5 years, that's my next destination.
Well, I tell you, I'm ready to go. But one thing I wanted to know, Pacwa mentioned about Marconi. Is that your newspaper or publication or what?
No, I think it's the lady by the name of Shawnee.
Shawnee, but it said something about she oversees our Marcoms.
Yeah, our marketing communications.
Okay. Now I understand.
Yeah.
I thought I just had to get clear before the meeting.
So BGST has been very kind in the sense that they have dedicated, but they brought in this lady, I think she's American, who works with them and takes care of the communication. So that helps with the marketing.
Wonderful.
That helps with the marketing.
Wonderful.
So that really helps with the marketing. It doesn't leave me in the dark as before. As before, I was wondering, every time I had a conversation with him, I can talk about the courses, how to teach and all that stuff, but then, boy, how to sell this stuff, to larger population, it's always something that's not my domain, but I'm always looking for some help. And then, hey presto, they brought in Shawnee, and that was great kind of thing.
Very good. I'm glad she will be there because, and please don't remember this, but I want to say that Paul Stevens has shared with me in the past that because he's been there and he's advised the president and everything, but it does seem like they are a little bit, they were way overstaffed in the beginning, and they kind of get out of budget because of that, because it seems like it's maybe more difficult for them to keep first things first.
Yes. And I think that's what they are trying to do now, because when we approached them with DMIN, they stood back kind of thing. But having said that also, they still, in my view, have got challenges with respect to who they want to deal with and how. But because I'm in the board, then I could basically drive quite a bit of the conversations.
Right.
Because I think with the IMT, the Institute of Marketplace kind of thing, I think without Paul driving it, it may not go very.
That's what I thought, because Paul is the driver of that.
Yeah, it may not go very far. And now without Paul, they all sort of felt that, I get the feeling, I get the impression that they all say, how to do more, they don't know what's more beyond that, right?
Right.
Where else, in our case, we are constantly evolving. We say, well, we want to teach this program. We can plan this program in for 2021. We can get it accredited.
Right.
Don't think about it if you want to be part of it, And if we can do this sort of things, then they are even on the hook even more.
Right.
Right. So now my next step with them is to say, okay, what about these courses that you teach in BGST? Do you like to upgrade them and be part of BGU to offer that at the doctoral level? Right. So that gives them the motivation to say, why not? Let's do it for 2021. Let's work towards that. Let's have that as a project with BGU rather than just, we are still looking for students. So while we are looking for students, while we are marketing, while we are publicizing, because they will be doing this thing. Yeah, we're gonna do this cultural thing as part of the doctoral program. We want to start this conversation with with BGU. Great, BGU does it. Then they will definitely be motivated to say, God, let's bring as many students as possible, because we can get our program into theirs and get up that kind of thing. So it's to get them into the hook, is to get them into this, to get them going kind of thing. And then from the DTL perspective, when we can actually look at that program and say, well, we got this core, but we are going to enlarge our base for the electives. These electives are available for the US. These electives are available for Europe. These electives are possibly available for the Asian time zone, kind of, for Asia kind of thing. We could do something like this kind of thing, but then it gets the partner on the hook. You see.
I love the approach, and you are absolutely right, because I think that one of the things, if our courses and our Zoom rooms don't happen in the right Asian time zone, then we at BGU have to make sure we have two alternatives. So we're reaching the whole world, because we can't say everybody has to fit within this time zone, because we're a global time zone region.
Correct. So I'll reach out to Debbie and work with her to look and feel as more global. You know, how we get, when you get hits there, how do I follow with the hits at this point at this time zone and so forth. So these are my very early thoughts and based on experience on dealing with them.
Well, I trust your wisdom and all that you've brought. Thank you so much, because
my pleasure.
I'm kidding. I want you to take over and guide BGU after I leave. I've got to
no.
forever. Because how old is your mother?
87.
Well, I have to tell you, my dear son, I turned 80 this year in October. And
Sorry?
I did. And I thought, I have got to be careful. I've got to not work so much. I've got to get, but God has given me health so far and everything. But I tell you, so I've got to find successors.
well, that's my case too. Gwen, in the sense that my friends ask me, say, Jeremy, why are you still trying to keep busy? Why don't you enjoy your golf and go for your walks, and you are scuttling from one place to another, doing training. Why on earth you are doing that? Well, put it this way, my answer is somewhat similar to yours. Is that I think God gave me the health to do all of these things.
That's right.
To be productive. God gave me my health to be productive. So why should I just sit down and enjoy things without doing something for the world that He owns? Right? What can I contribute to the world that He owns? And so I'm very busy doing that. But I did tell myself that in 5 years' time, the momentum is going to change. Right? When you are in your late 60s, is the momentum going to change? And that momentum will bring you into your 70s, and then that's it, kind of thing. But
I'm at 80.
Correct. Then you go to the 80s and the different momentum at the 80s, right? And each time you want to do it, you change your momentum, kind of thing.
That's it.
Yeah, but for me to really stop now, that's what my friends say. My friends tell me, you are not retired, my friend. I say, I know I'm not retired. But what do? I tell people I retired from the bank. But, I say, I got this whole new field of education that I'm looking at that is so interesting.
And I love your new view. How are you doing on that degree? Because I looked into that, and that's fascinating, the one you're doing in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, positive psychology. Yeah. I finished last week. So that's why last week I was very busy. And they had classes last week, so I attended class last week.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but it's a good program, super program, because it enables us to think differently.
Right.
It's not that we you know, the subject matter, Gwen, is what we all know.
Right.
But our point of view has never come from that perspective, right? So when we talk, for example, about motivation, we never think about it. We talk about motivation, or at least myself, is that, oh, it is to get somebody to do something, right? But when you look at the word motivation from a positive psychology point of view, it is about getting the best out of somebody. It's a very different thing.
There's a big difference there. Getting the best,
out
getting
of
something.
Right. So last week we went through this thing called appreciative inquiry, and it was very revealing that they threw out SWOT analysis. SWOT is thrown out, but in place of they came out with SOAR, SOAR, and you can get that over the internet. SOAR, and SOAR simply means that when we look at our strategy and when we look at our conversations, it is our conversations about strength. It is a conversation about the opportunity. So in BGE, we talk about our strength, our online strength, our global. Then that's our strength, right?
Right.
Our opportunities, right? And instead of looking at weakness, okay, SOA, our aspirations, throw weakness away and put aspirations.
Right?
And throw threats away instead of fighting things and put it as results.
I like that results section too.
Right? So our strength, our opportunities leads to our aspiration, and what do we hope to get out of that? That becomes a new way of having conversations with anybody.
That is wonderful. I really like that, because I had agreed, you know, like you, I take on too many things, and I agreed to be a retreat speaker on March 9th for a ladies' retreat in our church, and it'll be great at a retreat center. But as I worked, I thought, but that's what they all want. And so I couldn't think. So the whole thing is really on joy. And I didn't want to include too much on theology of work necessarily, although I have a great group of very talented women that are coming. But it's more like, and I thought, oh, Lord, why did I do this? and so I heard, well, you know, I will help give you what you need. And I just say, okay, I depend upon that.
Right.
It's the results, because what we do, I mean, we can talk about strengths, but people don't always look at opportunities, and even their own aspirations. And I look at this from a female standpoint so many times, because I think women get, and maybe because of my own time, I was kind of one of the leaders, and women, you know, even though I've been married, I was always advanced. I mean, I thought God created all of us equally, and I had brains, and so why not use them? And so,
absolutely.
You know, but this is interesting. So anyway, thank you for your thoughts, and thank you for all you're doing. One
more thought I leave you. At Gallup, we learned this about the word strength. One more thought I leave you. Gallup has actually a Christian book on strength. I'll send you the link on the book.
Oh, wonderful.
And it is a wonderful thing. This guy Clifton, he has passed on since then. And his name is Don Clifton. This is the book that I will send to you.
Okay.
And he wrote it with two other Christians, right? And he's the founder of Gallup. All the Gallup strength stuff was founded by Don Clifton. He wrote this book together with Albert Weinsman, okay, who is a deacon who was with the Methodist Church. And his other friend was Kurt Levels, and also MDiv, and right. So they wrote in this book called "Living Your Strength." Discover your God-given talents and inspire your community. This is a wonderful book because it woke me up to the fact that when we talk about stewardship, if we know the Gallup thing, we really help people nurture their talents,
right?
Grow their talents. Because in Gallup, we don't use the word just strength. It begins with talent.
It does. And God gave everybody talents.
Talents, correct. Right. And so Gallup identifies your talents, right? There are 34 talent teams, right? Right. And out of the talents, then we identify what we need to add on to to make the talent strength. We got to invest in skills, we got to invest in knowledge. That will then lead you to strength. And so Gallup is a positive organization approach in the sense that they never talk to you about fixing your weakness. So if you go to Marshall Goldsmith, the 360 and so forth, oh yes, this is person say this street. Okay, how then you don't waste your time with your weaknesses. Because
that's why I like appreciative inquiry. Because
correct. And if you look at it, when God never made us in any way weak, God made us different.
He did.
God never made us weak.
Right.
He just made us different. So what one consider as, we therefore should not consider things as weak. And Gallup redefines it by saying that if you are weak in one area, you have to manage it. But weakness basically means that you have probably the strength is probably misapplied. Okay, you have applied the strength wrongly, or you have deployed the strength wrongly, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some things that you just can't do because, right, you can't just overnight say, I want to be a surgeon and work on your weaknesses to be a surgeon. You can't do that. You can't do that. There's no way you can imitate. There are some behaviors you can imitate, but you cannot assume that you can imitate every behavior.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Very.
So Gallup is a great way. When I send you the link, is a great way to actually help people understand that how unique God has made each one of us. And the purpose of making us each unique in the Gallup world is that then together you have to work together. Anything in the kingdom of God, you basically have to work together to get things.
Right.
You never work alone, kind of thing. So it's a wonderful philosophy, and I really was wow. It really blew me, and it is the best articulated one. The other one by the University of Pennsylvania by Martin Steigerman is called VIA, Via Character Strength. It is not as matured as Gallup. Gallup has now fine-tuned their test to a sample size of about 20 million people.
Wonderful. Could you please send me that link?
Yes, I will send you that. I will send you that.
Because that's the essence of what I'm talking about, is that, how we talk of BGU about the parable of, talents.
Yes.
But it's like, if we use our talents, then God says, enter into the master's joy.
Right.
But we have to go through this other process of using our talents.
Correct.
Recognizing them and all these different things.
Absolutely.
And so I thought, okay, I got to tie all this together and see what I can do. So
this is wonderful. This Gallup stuff, I will send you the name of the book. It is
Thank you.
Super. Okay. Have
Thank
a good
you very much.
Take care.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.